Good morning, YouTube. What's up, y'all? Now we are going to go over string bits. Oh my lord. Okay, given a string, return a new string made of every other character starting with the first. So hello yields HLO. Okay, this is interesting. Every other character I see. So it's like skipping letters. So it says H, we're going to use you, but E, we're going to skip you. L, we're going to use you, but the other L, we're going to skip you. O, we're going to use you, and that's the end of the string. So H, L, and O were used. H, we're going to use you. I, we're not. So it's H. H, E, we don't need you. E, we'll keep. O, we don't need you. L, we'll keep. O, we don't need you. L, we keep. E, we don't need you. O, we'll keep you, and that's the end of the string. So let's return hello. You're skipping, right? And so here, I want to introduce y'all to a while loop. And this is the coolest thing in the world. A while loop is based on a condition. Similar to a for loop, it's actually very similar. But it's a little like the components are a little spread out. So remember in for I in range n, right? In this typical for loop, right? You have a variable I that's iterating through this range, through this iterable 0 through n, which will basically say if n is 2, let's do it twice. If n is 3, let's do it thrice, and so on. If n is 0, let's not even go through the for loop. Yeah, so that's a for loop. It's without you knowing anything, it's creating a loop with this word for. It's creating a variable called I, which you can keep track of, and there's an iterable here. For a while loop, I'm just going to keep this up here, but for a while loop, it looks like this. Okay, so this is our iterator. This is just saying move up the list, right? When I is less than n. So let's say I was 0, right? That's how we start. And n was 3. So is 0 less than 3? Check, it is. So we go through this, and now we say I plus equals 1. Now we say I is 1. We don't go back here and say I equals 0. We just go back to the front of the while loop. So now I is 1. Is 1 less than 3? Yep, it is. Keep going. I is now 2. I plus equals 1 means I is equal to 2 plus 1, right? So now I equals 1 plus 1. So now I is 2. So 2 is less than 3. Yeah, that's correct. Then now I is equal to 3. Now is 3 less than 3? 3 is not less than 3. So it followed the while loop when I was 0, 1, and 2. In other words, it did it 3 times because 0, 1, and 2 are 3 different times. So that's a while loop. If you didn't have this, then we would stay at 0 forever, and 0 will always equal, 0 will always be less than n, unless you're changing n. But if n is a fixed value, and I is a fixed value, then this while loop will be a forever loop, and that's certainly something we don't want, unless it's by intention. Some people even make this condition true by saying while true, and that's a forever loop, and then to break out of it, you just say this word break, right? And you'll break out of the while loop. So you can do that, but typically that is not used in most programming cases. Typically we just want while I is less than n or something like that, and then I plus equals 1. And now I'll explain why we did a while loop instead of a for loop. The cool part is with this problem, right? Since you're doing every other, we don't want I plus equals 1. We want I plus equals 2 actually, right? We want I plus equals 2 to kind of skip. So we want to go from the 0th index to the 2nd index to the 4th index to the 6th index to the 8th index, right? We don't want to go through all indexes and say, hey, are you an odd number? Let's skip you. We can do that for sure, but this is where a while loop is super cool. You can do I plus equals 2. In a for loop, you cannot do I plus equals 2. Very unfortunate. All right, so let's see here. we want to keep track of a result string. And then we want to add the character at which I is in the string. Okay, so if I is 0, it will go as the first letter, the 0th index. If I is 2, right, because we're skipping by 2, then it will give us the second index or the third letter, right? And so that's where we get this E from. If I is 4, then it'll give us the fifth letter. H-E-E-O-L, it will give us this L. If I is 6, it will give us the seventh letter. If I is 8, it will give us the ninth letter, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. And then we can just return the result, and that should do it. Oh, something went wrong here. Oh, yeah. We don't have n. I kind of assumed they would give us an n since I've been doing so many problems where they give us 2 parameters. But really, this is just the length of the string. And this is a fixed number, you know? And if this is a fixed number, then really you should be focused on changing I, which we thankfully do here. Perfecto.